Welcome to your Islanders Prospect Daily Update for August 20th. Hit that subscribe button, don't miss a video. Also go to Twitter, follow @TLOMitch. That's me. Don't miss any breaking information about Islanders prospects I've yet to cover on the channel. Yesterday was a busy-ish day for Islanders prospects. 8 teams that feature an Islanders prospect were in action, but not all of those games featured an Islanders prospect. It's preseason hockey, not everyone's playing all the time, right? Coaches are trying to figure out who's going to go where and if anyone's going to come in or out type of thing. So, you're going to see some rotation. Some of these guys might not play. But there's also the idea that you might not see the games. I have a hard time following all these games because not most of them are televised, at least publicly anyways. So I don't have video on most of these, but I was able to watch at least one or two. So let's get into it. Viktovic against Trinek, or Trinesh. I don't know if that's a soft C or not. Either way. Thomas Mashu played. He was on the third pair for Viktovic. Didn't put up a point. I wasn't able to watch the game because these preseason games in the Czech Republic aren't publicly televised. So I wasn't able to see what he did. But as the season progresses, we will be able to watch what Thomas Mashu has done. I also can't find highlights after the fact because, again, they're not publicly televised. So as it stands now, I am not able to see any of Thomas Mashu's games, but that will change with the regular season. Second game, TPS against the SOT. Etuliukas was supposed to play on the fourth line, but when you look at these stats and when I watched the game, I didn't see him play. I looked for number 72 out there the entire time, didn't see it, so I figured it was a late substitution. And when you look at the stat line, he's not even listed amongst the game sheet, so he didn't play. I don't think there's an injury. I looked to try to find if there's some sort of report about an injury. I didn't see one. Doesn't mean one doesn't exist. They may just not have listed it yet. I don't expect that to be the case. I think it's like I said before, where you're seeing some squad rotation at the bottom end of the roster, and I figure he'll factor in a little bit later. But no game for Etuliukas yesterday. The third game was Kalpa against Jukurit, and Henrik Tikkanen didn't play. He wasn't listed as a starter. He wasn't listed as the backup. I think this is just Kalpa going through their goalie squad or their goalie depth chart to figure out who's where. But Tikkanen signed a Liga contract. He will be playing at the Liga level this year, either as the starter or the backup. I think it might be the latter of the two. But you're going to see him play at the Liga level once the regular season starts. He might get a few more starts here as the preseason rolls on. But as it stands for yesterday, he did not play. Game number 4 is Karpat against Luleå. Luleå is a Swedish side out of the SHL, so you're getting intra-league club friendlies, which tells you that you're probably not going to find a lot of video or even any sort of stats because they didn't keep stats. There's no ice time, there's no shots, there's no nothing. I have no information. I know that Alturatu played on the second line. Karpat bumped him up from his third line role into a second line position, which says a lot about what he did last game. Remember in the last update I gave you, I said Ratu played a really good game. 5 shots on net, primary or secondary assist on the only goal they scored, was a really good factor, not only in just driving to the net, but using his teammates as well. Clearly, Karpat saw the same thing and rewarded him with a second line showing. Whether that sticks throughout not just the preseason or the regular season remains to be seen, but it seems that they like what he is giving, at least right now. Game number 5, Pelicans against Kuku, and Matias Rajanemi played on the fourth pair. That's right, fourth pair is what he was listed at. I didn't see that unkindness that Antti Pennanen has talked about. Hopefully that grows over the season. But I'm still looking for it. And I know we're only in the preseason, but I keep watching Pelicans games just to see if I'm going to see a mean Matias Rajanemi, and I haven't yet seen it. I'm watching them right now, although as it stands as we're recording this during the intermission. But the game that I'm watching today, he still hasn't shown up much. He's playing on the third pair now, which is what I kind of expect him to be during the regular season. But I want to see more of that meanness from the big Finnish defenseman. Brunus against AIK. Alexander Ljungcrantz played on the fourth line. I have no stats because the SHL don't keep stats. I was able to pop in a little bit as the stream that I found was not consistent, but I was able to catch some of the video. Lundkrantz looked okay, used his speed down the flank, was able to create a little bit, but not a whole lot. That's what happens when you're playing on the fourth line. I expect him to bounce up and down in the bottom six, so third line, fourth line, winger type thing, depending on the game next year. We'll see if that sticks, but third line, fourth line is what I expect for Brunus next year. Game number 7, Adler against Kölner. We're getting some German on German hockey finally. It seemed like Adler was all over the place. We're getting interleague play now, but still no stats. No shots, no ice time, no nothing for these preseason games. I do know that Ruslan Ishkakov provided the primary assist for Adler's only goal in the day. It was on the power play. That much I know. Haven't been able to see the video. I haven't found it anywhere, whether on Twitter, YouTube, or just anywhere else online. Haven't seen it anywhere. I'd really like to find it. If you know or have seen it, let me know. But as it stands now, we know that Ruslan Ishkakov is playing third line center for Adler. I kind of expect that to go into a top 6 role, but we'll see going forward what the coach decides to do. He is playing with Borna Rendulic, which is a good matchup in terms of type of player, right? You've got power forward and then, playmaking ability in Ruslan Ishkakov. So we'll see how that turns in the regular season. But as it stands now, Ruslan Ishkakov playing third line center and putting up points. I think he's got 3 or 2 over the last 3 or 4 games in the preseason. So I expect that to go up as the regular season starts and that production to hit half a point and more over the regular season. The final game of the day featured the Moncton Wildcats against the St. John Sea Dogs, and William Dufour did not play. It's a preseason thing. He's going to be a top-line player for them. He didn't feature here. That's what happens in the preseason, right? It's early preseason for the QMJHL, specifically the St. John Sea Dogs. The Islanders do the same thing in the regular season. You don't see those regulars until the end or halfway through the preseason. I don't expect William Dufour to necessarily be playing game 1, so when I didn't see his name, I wasn't too panicked at all, and nor should you. So that's your update for August 20th. These longer updates is what I kind of hope to do during the regular season when there are more games and there's more video to look at. But as it stands now, no video because it's preseason hockey. But these longer updates will be coming during the regular season. Thank you for following. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't yet, please do so. And for those who have, thank you, thank you, thank you.